The council chamber falls silent when Athena enters. Not from fear, though the warriors present do fear her in the way one fears a blade that never misses its mark, but from attention, absolute, focused attention. Every eye turns to the goddess in her armor, her gray eyes sweeping the room like a general surveying a battlefield. She sees everything. The nervous twitch of the young general's left hand, the lie forming in the ambassador's mouth before he speaks it, the single loose stone in the temple foundation that will cause a collapse in 3 years if no one fixes it, the pattern in the clouds that means rain in 9 days, the calculation in the merchant's eyes as he prepares his false testimony.
Pattern recognition elevated to an art form, to a weapon, to a way of being. Where others see chaos, Athena sees structure. Where others guess, she calculates. Where others prepare for contingencies, she prepares for every possibility. The battle she is advising on today is already won, in her mind. It was won before it began, the moment she saw the enemy's formation and recognized the fatal flaw in their left flank. She has already calculated the optimal moment to attack, the precise number of soldiers needed, the exact words to say to inspire the troops. Everything is planned. Everything is accounted for. But as the battle unfolds, as the soldiers execute her strategy with mechanical precision, Athena stands apart. She watches, she calculates, she adjusts, and she feels nothing. Not satisfaction at the victory, not grief at the fallen, not fear in the chaos. Only the cold clarity of a mind that sees everything and feels nothing at all. The Parthenon rises from the Athenian skyline, its marble columns catching the Mediterranean light, its golden statue of Athena gleaming inside. This is her greatest creation, not just a temple, but a statement, a declaration that wisdom and strategy are worthy of worship, that the mind is a god worth praying to. In her name, humanity has built ships that cross oceans. They have developed military formations that have never been broken. They have created philosophies that outlive the empires that commissioned them. They have woven tapestries of such beauty that even the gods pause to admire. They have given her temples in every city, prayers in every home, offerings on every altar. She gave them the olive tree, the gift that ended hunger, that provided oil and wood and shade. She gave them the art of shipbuilding, the knowledge that turned the sea from a barrier into a highway. She gave them strategic warfare, the discipline and formation that transformed raiding bands into armies. Every gift was calculated, every act was strategic, every kindness had a purpose. The mortals see a benefactor. They see the goddess who watches over them, who guides their heroes, who grants them wisdom in times of need. They do not see the calculation behind every gesture. They do not see the strategy in every gift. They do not understand that even her generosity is a form of planning, an investment in gratitude, in worship, in the strategic advantage that comes from being loved. A world of strategy, of wisdom, of calculated kindness. And in this world, emotion has no place. Emotion is weakness. Emotion is chaos. Emotion is what causes generals to make Tsowu the decisions and kings to fall from their thrones. She is above emotion. She has always been above emotion. That is what makes her untouchable. After the council, after the battle plans are finalized, after the decisions that will change kingdoms have been made, Athena returns to her chambers on Olympus. The rooms are magnificent, fitted with the finest works of Hephaestus, decorated with tapestries woven by her own hands, filled with the tools of her trade, maps, models, strategy guides, the collected wisdom of 1,000 wars. She sits alone, and for one moment,
One dangerous, forbidden moment, she tries to feel something. She reaches for grief, for joy, for love, for fear. She searches inside herself for the emotions that mortals speak of, that poets celebrate, that drive heroes to acts of valor and lovers to acts of madness. She finds nothing. Only the brilliant, calculating, untouchable mind. Only the endless stream of patterns and strategies and contingencies. Only the cold, perfect clarity of wisdom without feeling. She remembers her birth, not as a memory. She has no memories of childhood, no experiences of growing, no sense of becoming. She simply was. One moment nothing, the next moment fully formed, armored and armed, a goddess of war and wisdom from her first breath. There was no childhood, no mother's warmth, no father's guidance, no gradual learning of the world. She was born ready, and being born ready meant being born without the luxury of feeling before thinking, of experiencing before understanding, of being weak before becoming strong. She made a choice, not consciously. She was too new for conscious choice, but in the deepest part of her being, she made a bargain with herself. If she could not feel, she would not need to feel. If she could not love, she would not need to be loved. If she could not grieve, she would never have to experience loss. She chose the fortress of intellect. She built it so high, so strong, so perfect that no one, not even herself, could climb over it, and she has lived inside it ever since. The mask fits so well that she forgot there was a face beneath it. The moment of transformation was her birth, but the choice came later. She could have explored the emotions she was born without. She could have studied mortals to understand what they felt, why they wept, why they laughed, why they threw away their lives for love or honor or grief. She could have tried to find the feeling she lacked, to cultivate it, to grow it. Instead, she doubled down on the mind. Why feel when you can understand? Why love when you can protect? Why grieve when you can plan? The bargain was simple and devastating. If emotion was a weakness, she would eliminate weakness. If feeling led to chaos, she would become the opposite of chaos. If the heart was a liability, she would cut it out. Not literally, but completely, absolutely, in every way that mattered. She built the fortress of intellect higher. She sharpened her mind until it was a weapon more deadly than any spear. She perfected her strategies until they were works of art, flawless and untouchable. And she never looked back. The world saw a goddess of wisdom, brilliant, untouchable, eternal. They saw the advisor whose counsel was always correct, the protector whose plans always succeeded, the strategist who never lost a battle. They did not see what was missing. They could not see what was missing because she had made herself invisible to everyone, including herself. The consequences were inevitable. She became the brilliant goddess the world knows, the strategist who never loses, the advisor whose counsel is always correct, the guardian of heroes, Achilles and Odysseus and Perseus and all the great champions of myth, all guided by her mind, protected by her plans, led to victory by her calculations. But none of them knew her. They saw the goddess, they saw the advisor, they saw the protector in gleaming armor appearing at crucial moments to offer the perfect counsel. They did not see the woman who could not feel. She calculated her relationships. She planned her interventions. She executed her strategies for connecting with heroes and gods alike. But she never connected. Not really. The interactions were performances. Brilliant performances, but performances nonetheless. And the more brilliant she became, the more distant she grew. The mask became the face became the truth. And the woman beneath, if she still existed, if she had ever existed, went silent. The heroes came with their questions and departed with their answers. The mortals prayed and received their wisdom. The gods consulted and received their strategies. And Athena was always there, always brilliant, always untouchable. always alone. The fortress she built was perfect. It protected her from the weakness of feeling. It made her the most powerful goddess in the pantheon, and it made her a prison from which there was no escape. In the mirror of her shield, polished bronze that was forged by Hephaestus himself, a gift from the god who understood creation better than anyone, Athena sees two figures: the goddess, armored, brilliant, eternal, gray-eyed and fierce, her spear raised in perpetual readiness, her mind calculating every possibility. She sits in councils, and the room falls silent. She walks into battles, and victories are assured. She offers counsel, and kings rearrange their plans. This is the face the world sees. This is the face carved into the Parthenon, painted onto pottery, worshipped in temples across the known world. The face of wisdom, of strategy, of untouchable power. But behind the goddess there is another figure, the daughter, born without a mother, raised without childhood, forced to choose between mind and heart before she even knew she had a choice. This figure is smaller, quieter, more uncertain. This figure wanted to feel. She just never learned how. She tried, in the early days, to understand what mortals meant when they spoke of love and grief and joy. She studied their poetry, their music, their tragedies, and she found nothing. No connection, no resonance, only the cold understanding of patterns without the warmth of experience. And so she built the wall. She chose the mind. She chose strategy over emotion, wisdom over feeling, calculation over connection. She chose to be untouchable rather than vulnerable. And the wall became the world, and the world became the mask, and the mask became everything. The two figures do not merge. They do not reconcile. They exist in the same being, the same goddess, the same fortress, and the wall between them is made of everything she never let herself feel.
A prayer rises from a hero. It is different from the usual requests, not for victory, not for wisdom, not for protection in battle. The hero, one of the many she has guided over the centuries, has been thinking, reflecting, and in the quiet of his tent, before the final battle, he prays, "Athena, goddess of wisdom, I have learned your strategies. I have followed your counsel. I have won the victories you planned. But I wonder, do you know what we feel? Do you understand what it is to love, to grieve, to fear? Do you feel what we feel when we go into battle, when we hold our beloveds, when we face death?" The prayer reaches her like a shaft of light in the darkness of her fortress. Someone is wondering about her heart, not her wisdom, not her strategy, her heart. For one moment, one brief, impossible moment, she tries to answer. She reaches for the feeling the hero describes. She searches for grief, for joy, for love, for fear. She casts her brilliant mind into the depths of her being, searching for any trace of emotion, any hint of feeling, any proof that she is more than calculation and strategy. She finds only patterns. She finds only the endless computation of cause and effect, strategy and outcome, wisdom and application. She is the goddess of wisdom. She is brilliant beyond measure, and she cannot remember what it feels like to feel. The truth she cannot avoid, no matter how brilliant her mind, no matter how perfect her strategies, no matter how fortress strong her walls. She is the most brilliant mind in existence, and she has never been known. Not by the gods who respect her but keep their distance, not by her heroes who worship her but cannot reach her, not by the mortals who pray to her but cannot imagine her as anything but untouchable, not even by herself. She built a fortress of intellect so high, so perfect, so impenetrable that no one can reach her, and she lives inside it, alone, brilliant, untouchable.
She chose the mind over the heart. She chose wisdom over feeling. She chose strategy over emotion. And the choice made her powerful beyond measure. It made her the most valuable advisor in the cosmos, the most feared strategist in existence, the goddess whose counsel could topple kingdoms or save them. And it made her empty beyond understanding. Is there a woman beneath the goddess? Is there a heart beneath the armor? Or did she cut away so much that nothing remains? She does not know. She cannot know. Because to know would require feeling, and feeling is the one thing she chose to never learn. The fortress is perfect. The walls are unbreakable. And inside, in the highest tower, the goddess of wisdom sits alone, brilliant, untouchable, eternal, and more alone than any god has ever been.
The episode ends at the edge of the Parthenon. Athena stands where the marble meets the sky, looking down at the city that bears her name. Athens, her greatest creation, her most strategic gift to humanity. The city glows in the Mediterranean sunset, its temples and theaters and agorae filled with people living their lives, guided by her wisdom, protected by her strategies, inspired by her example. The people love each other. They grieve when loved ones die. They fear in battle. They celebrate in victory. They connect with each other in ways she has never understood, or perhaps never allowed herself to understand. She gave them everything she could give: wisdom, strategy, the tools to build and fight and thrive. She could not give them what she did not have, the ability to feel, because she never had it, because she chose long ago in the first moment of her existence to never need it. The mask is perfect, the armor is flawless, the strategy is unbreakable. And at the bottom of the fortress she built, at the very foundation, in the place where a heart should be, there is only silence, only the endless computation, only the perfect, cold, untouchable brilliance. The brilliant mind, the untouchable goddess, the daughter who chose the mind over the heart and lived to regret nothing. Or perhaps regret is not the right word.
Loss. The mind is vast, the heart is empty, and the goddess of wisdom has never been wise enough to understand what she gave away. The city glows below, the mortals live and love and feel, and Athena, the smartest being in existence, stands alone on her marble throne and does not know what she is missing. Because to know would require feeling, and feeling is the one thing she will never allow herself.